Hello, and thanks for joining me. Hey, it is day 42 of my 90-day carnivore challenge. I began this on January 1st, 2024, so New Year's Day. And I think I told y'all in my first video, I was going through all of the health struggles that I have suffered through for not just years, for decades. And so somebody mentioned on one of my posts yesterday, a gentleman just said, hey, please don't stop after 90 days. And I know that I keep calling this a 90-day challenge, but I'm doing that because that's when I plan on getting all of my lab work done again so that we can compare, the before and after 90 days. There is no way that I'm going to stop the carnivore diet after 90 days. I was close to death, and I went into this thinking, hey, I've got nothing to lose by trying a diet that a lot of people are going to consider pretty extreme. But when you've got triglycerides up around the 2,000 range and the cholesterol through the roof, the bad cholesterol, the good cholesterol being extremely low, and being on all the diabetes medications and chronic kidney disease and high blood pressure and zero energy, I literally was just going through the motions of the day, just doing everything that I could to survive each day because I felt so bad all of the time. And just 42 days into this, I know that this carnivore lifestyle has saved my life. So there's no way that I'm going to quit after 90 days. We're just going to have new lab work done so that everybody can see the significant improvements in my health. It's one thing for me to sit here and tell you how good I feel, and I have no doubt that y'all can see this in the videos. Each week you can just tell that I have more energy than the week before. And especially if you go back to my first video, I struggled to get through the video because I was so out of breath all the time back then. It was hard for me to carry on a conversation without getting winded. I couldn't walk across a room without having to sit down and rest for 30 minutes just to catch my breath again. And so my whole world has just changed in a matter of weeks. And it's all from switching from the standard American diet, getting rid of all of those complex carbohydrates, your sugars, the inflammatory seed oils, especially all of the grains and everything, and just, getting back to the basics of eating meat, fish, eggs, things of that sort, and on occasion adding a little bit of cheese to it. And if you're gonna do cheese, at least make sure that you're doing real cheese. Don't do the American cheese, Velveeta, anything like that, because it really is just made out of those seed oils. And everyone needs to stay away from those. A lot of the same foods again this week. I got to have ribeye twice this week. We had some birthdays, so had ribeye at 2 different steakhouses. Of course, I would also make, little steaks that I would take in my thermos to work, and burger patties at night. I had a couple of days where I had shrimp. Had 2 days where I just took some cans of wild-caught tuna and a couple of boiled eggs. And so really, just real simple meals. But let's talk just a minute about weight loss on this journey, because it can get frustrating. And if there's other people that's doing this, I want you to know that you're not alone if you have some weeks where you're like, hey, I did everything right. I ate all the proper meals. I didn't eat any kind of junk whatsoever, but I didn't lose any weight this week. Well, the last 3 weeks, if you've noticed, I've only lost like 4 pounds. Now, there in the beginning, weight was just falling off of me, but you've got to understand too, I was retaining water like a sea cow. When you're not eating the proper foods, and especially a lot of grains and things of that sort, you are going to retain water like a sponge. And so when you first start eating right, you get pretty excited because you see so much weight come off there in the beginning, but it really is your water just getting, your body getting rid of a ton of water that had just been storing. That also played, a huge role in you seeing my blood pressure numbers getting better. When your body's not holding on to all of those fluids, and that fluid builds up around all of your organs, as well, it's going to raise that blood pressure. And so when you start getting that fluid off of your body, you can't help but see better blood pressures. So yeah, I'm still at 207, and so I was 225 when I started this on January 1st. So it's 18 pounds of weight loss so far. But I think I've spoke before on the weight part not being the most important thing. And yes, we want to step on that scale, and we want to see that scale going lower, every day and definitely every week. But you have to understand that, we didn't put all of that weight on overnight. It's not going to all come off over day either. And the more, important thing is, how are you feeling? What are your blood sugars looking like? What are your blood pressures looking like? Because, a month or so ago, I was looking at 300 and 400 blood sugars, after meals all the time. I mean, that was a very consistent thing for me to hit 300 and 400 on my blood sugars after a meal. And now I'm kind of disappointed if I hit 140, after a meal. So it's a whole world of difference. And instead of having, 180 over 120 blood pressures, now I'm looking at blood pressures like 126 over 80. And so those are the important things. Yes, I want to step on that scale and see that I'm 20 pounds lighter than I was 2 weeks ago. But I heard somebody else say once that we have it backwards on that. We always say, I need to lose weight to get healthy, when in all honesty, it's the other way around. We have to get healthy in order to lose weight. When we are eating the proper foods and we're giving our body the proper nutrition, it will find its ideal weight. It's going to take some time, but it will find its ideal weight. The weight part is going to take care of itself. And it's probably, in all honesty, it's probably better for that weight to come off slowly than all at once anyway. So that's what I wanted to talk about more than anything this week. If you're seeing a stall in weight loss, don't let it get you down. And definitely don't let it just say, well, I'm just going to throw in the towel or for this, today, and just have me a good cheat meal. Because a cheat meal always turns into a cheat day. And then a cheat day winds up always turning into a cheat weekend or a cheat week. And next thing you know is, you're sitting there talking to yourself, when am I going to get back on track on the diet that was really helping with me? I am telling myself now that anytime that I'm even considering eating something that I know I shouldn't eat, I remind myself that nothing tastes as good as being healthy feels. And that's just the truth. I've told you in previous videos how much I love chicken fried steak. It was one of my all-time favorite foods. And I used to look forward to going out and having a chicken fried steak. But the truth of the matter is, I always felt horrible after I ate it. Within an hour, it would be hard to breathe. My energy level would drop. I would feel like if we're out walking around somewhere, I would feel like I needed a wheelbarrow for my belly. It just felt so bloated. I always knew within a very short time of having something like that I had done something that was stupid. And then sometimes I would just say, yeah, but it's worth it because it's so good. And but it's not. It's not worth throwing our health away. Nothing tastes as good as being healthy feels. So hold on to that thought anytime that you're feeling like, I think I'll just have a little cheat day. What can it hurt? well, it can cause you to get off of this altogether. Yeah, and when you think about how silly it is, carbohydrate addiction is a very real thing. We are highly, highly addicted to the things on the standard American diet that causes us to have all of these health problems. With no other addiction out there do we ever allow ourselves or even pencil it in on a calendar, oh, Friday is going to be a cheat day. I'm going to do good all week and I'm going to have a cheat day on Friday. I'm not saying with other addictions that people don't have struggles. Things happen during the day and they fall off the wagon. But they never schedule one ahead of time. But yet when we're dieting, we tend to do that. We give ourselves an opportunity or a permission to have a cheat day, which winds up always causing, like I said, a cheat week, a cheat month. And then next thing you know is, where did I go wrong? How did I, why did I get off of this diet that was doing so well for me? And then lastly, I keep using the word diet. Carnivore is not a diet. Diets fail. When you go on a diet, you're usually doing some type of a calorie restriction diet, whether it be Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, or you're on one of those low fat diets. More than anything, you are counting calories. You're doing portion sizes and things of that sort, and so you're hungry all the time. Now, people have success with those quote diets, while they're on them, but they can't stay on them long term because people can't go the rest of their lives being hungry. And so that's one thing that I want to make clear on this, that when you switch to the carnivore lifestyle, you're not going on a diet, you're changing your diet. And the most amazing thing about it is you're not hungry all the time. People think when they're doing the standard American diet and they're grazing and eating things, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, even 8 times a day, they think that they're hungry. But it really is the addiction kicking in and making you feel, it's tricking you constantly, making you think that you're hungry when you're just constantly having withdrawals and you're needing more of the junk foods that we have all throughout our lives, different times in our lives struggled with. Your Cheetos, Doritos, breakfast cereals, cupcakes, Twinkies, all the Little Debbie snack the hundreds of varieties of cookies on the shelves in the grocery store. When you're grazing on those things all day, when you think about it, you never really get full. And though you might be satisfied for a few minutes, an hour later, you're hungry, or you think you're hungry because you're craving those things again. You just don't get that when you're doing the carnivore lifestyle. You eat until you're full. You eat a big old steak and you eat until you're full. And then you don't want anything again until your body really does need food again. And sometimes that might be 10 hours, 12 hours. Sometimes it's the next day. There's a lot of people that do this that only eat one big, huge meal per day. And they're just they don't even really think about eating again until that same time the next day. I'm doing 2 meals a day. That just seems to suit me right now. But there are some days where I'll have a big lunch and supper time will come around and I'm just like, you know what? I'm not hungry. I think I'll just skip this meal. And so I have done the 1 meal a day, a few times, but most of the time I'm 2 meals a day. But I never ever feel the need to have a snack in between meals anymore. Like the standard American diet has you doing all the time, because we're always craving things. So if you haven't given carnivore a chance, if you haven't thought about doing carnivore, if you do it, that's the first thing that you're going to notice. Just after a few days, you're going to find that, hey, I'm just not hungry all the time like I used to be. Well, that's what I've got for today. Getting ready to, get some finger foods and stuff made for the Super Bowl tonight. So I can't wait to talk to you again next week with an update. This is day 42. I'm almost halfway through the 90-day challenge. But again, this this carnivore is a lifestyle, and there's no way I'm going to quit after the 90 days. This is only the beginning for me. Thanks. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.